Okay, so they had coal. They discovered coal here, so they probably settled Towanda because they had coal. They're hoping to look for diamonds. Submarine right here. Okay, coal. Mining on Berkeley Mountain. Hunters. Just a map. It's important, valuable. Hunters, hikers, and those from outside of Bradford County generally astonished to find evidence of past coal mining activities on top of Berkeley Mountain. But these coal mines play an important role in the economic development of Bradford County. The story dates back to 1812 when Absalom Carr, a hunter, discovered outcroppings of coal on a mountain. Carr told Jared Leavenworth, a blacksmith, about his find. Leavenworth went to the outcroppings and took a load of coal down to the mountain in a sled. He tried in his forge and found it was a good smith coal. Word quickly spread about his discovery. Roads were cut into the mountain, and the coal could be hauled out on sleds. Quite a job. The whole region was heavily wooded with pine, hemlock, and beech trees. First regular mining was done by Clement S. Miller of Philadelphia, who purchased the land along Fall Creek. Philip Mason, who had been agent for the asylum lands along Schrader Creek, purchased several thousand acres in 1837 and opened up his own mine. 1834, Miller employed a geologist named Jones to make an extended search for coal and minerals. This became a topic of discussion amongst many Towanda men. Headed by Edward Overton, they formed a company in 1836 called the Towanda Coal Company. 3 years later, they incorporated the Towanda Railroad Coal Company. In 1840, engaged Walter R. Johnson, a noted geologist, to make a thorough survey in other lands and lay out the railroad. His report to the company was encouraging. Coal could easily be marketed through the almost completed North Branch Canal. The railroad could be built in the lands of Towanda. Canal had to be opened over the spring. The contractors were ready to finish the road with a grand opening set in November of 1856. Canal was only used for 10 years when it was replaced by a remarkable means of transportation, railroad line extending from Towanda north of the state line. Berkeley Chemical Company. Chemical plant opened in 1905, converted logs into charcoal, methanol, acetate of lime, later acetic acid. Method of operating was to heat the wood to a very high temperature. The absence of oxygen could release the chemicals from the wood, turn the remaining wood into charcoal. Chemical plant closed in 1932 and burned in 1933 in the process of being torn down. See, they already had stuff, and it took years to grow back, Berkeley, people go to study school. What happened? Community of Lakeland. The community of Lakeland was made up of single and double houses owned by the various companies in town. Largest of these houses complete above-ground swimming pool in the back lawn. They once held Berkeley in the ceiling. Later, the home of his son, the daughter-in-law, Stanley Ellen Cleo Hatch Berkeley. Their daughter. It would be noted that there is no known connection between Berkeley brothers. Stuart Lakeland and Berkeley Cleo Bury Hill, working in England. Several boarding houses could be found at town. Married men whose families hadn't come to the United States. Okay? So, they're trying to develop America. They already had stuff. They studied stuff and found stuff, right? They're studying what happened. It was here. The line ran along the North Branch Canal. The name of the Pennsylvania Newark, but in 1888 was released to the Lehigh Valley Railroad. The railroad established their shop new state line, which would rise to become the Sayre, which was incorporated in 1890. Coal mining communities of Bark Lake, Carbon Run, Fall Creek, Long Valley. Other areas are near Barkley Mountain, the home to thousands of residents, including numerous immigrants from other countries, especially Ireland. Coal was sent down to the inclined plains near Barkley and Long Valley, along with the third inclined plane, Cache Mountain. The bottom of the Barkley Plains footplane, coal was sent by railroad to Towanda. So they already had stuff they were trying. Then they, people who, owned the mine couldn't really read what happened. Approximately 1,500 residents lived in Lequin with a combination of cultures living side by side, including Italian, Hungarian, Polish immigrants. Came direct from Ellis Island. The community contained a railroad depot, store, company office, hotel, restaurant, ice cream parlor, public hall, photography studio, post office, barber shop, 2 churches and 2 schools. Charles Ruddy, a carpenter for Towanda, built most of the buildings in Lake Quinn. The community lasted as long as the chemical plant remained in operation, closing in 1932. Large parts of town had been shut down with the closing of the sawmill in 1925. At the end, several major community buildings were destroyed by a fire. The chemical plant was being scrapped, fire was also destroyed. Civilian Conservation Corps. Civilian Conservation Corps were created by a part of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. One of the camps were established on the Barkley Mountain at Lake Quim in 1933. Young men from across the country who were looking for jobs came to work on the conservation project. On the mountains, such as the construction of new roads, stone walls, proper drainage and planting of trees, reintroduction of wildlife, construction of Tower of Killing Mountain, to name a few. The work was to report part of restoring the mountain after years of coal mining and lumbering. Camp closed at the onset of World War II in 1941 when these men went off to war. So they were put to work, sent off to war, they would be unpaid and killed. Okay? They didn't make the money they wanted, and they sent off to die. Basically, they didn't get the money for trying, they went off to war and were killed. That's what happened. Lumbering and related industries along the Schrader Creek at Lequim. Lackland Lumber Company. The town of Lequim began when the Lackland Lumber Company built its sawmill, one of the largest in the state at the time. 1902, it operated the mill until 1912. Central Pennsylvania Lumber Company. Then took over operating the mill until 1925. This mill shaped the lumber to location all over the northeastern United States. The bark was stripped from logs in the woods, and they're sent down to Greenwood Tannery, what is now Powell. Here the tannin was extracted from the bark to create tannic acid, turning the creation of leather at the tannery. Okay? So they really already had stuff, right? They studied stuff, they already had stuff, they wanted jobs to work, right? Then they came to America where they wouldn't pay for stuff to go off to war, basically. They could get the money and pay. They didn't make money, so they were in mental wards and prisons. They tried. They made money to pay for stuff. They asked for a job. They started killing people. They died. They tried to improve the place, develop the place, and then people died because they didn't get the money and pay they wanted. The Urban Veneer plant in Lequim opened in 1904, making the hubs with central wooden wagon wheels and veneer for furniture. This proper work was wood chips, which were sold to Anheuser-Busch for brewing beer. Plant closed in 1913. So they want stuff, didn't get their money they asked for. Game refuge, okay? So they asked for stuff, they get their money and pay. So then they were sold off to go to war and stuff. They didn't care. The money, they didn't care. To make the money you want, they're not nice to girls either. So they had a business, they tried to develop it. actually, Justin Davis couldn't really read and write what happened to illustrate what happened, but they didn't make the money they wanted. They just went off to war to kill people. And people died because they didn't get what they want. They got a bunch of people killed, okay? Here, Davis. Edward Davis. I don't know, I mean 1853, but during the Civil War. So 1793. Okay, 1793 was the earliest establishments they bought it, right? So when the earliest established was a coal mine here. 1794, where Davis was still here, couldn't really read and write what happened, right? Then I couldn't really read and write. They wanted money, and then he survived what happened. The people died. So people asked for jobs and money. They still exist, right? Still exist people who were horribly abused because they didn't care. They wanted money. So Civil War, where people die, they start wars so they don't make the money they want. So they make the money they want. They're horribly abusive. They ask for stuff. They won't pay for it. They get you killed. Yeah? So they ask for stuff. They don't make the money you want. And they get you killed, okay? And that's what happened. 1791. Hatterston, Maryland. Huh? George Washington's Commonwealth, yeah? Yeah. Real issue reversals, huh? Yeah. So you couldn't really read and write. They were trying to sit there and tell you they're trying to make money. They didn't make what they started killing people. They were tortured over money.